Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 7th of October and we are going to start with the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this particular session, we are going to take up all the articles for the examination which are relevant. We'll be taking articles along with the background as well as the way forward. Now, first of all, I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this particular session from the Telegram channel, and link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are important in the today's newspaper. So here, okay. So on the first page, we have this article: Supreme Court refuses to stay release of Bihar caste survey data. Bihar caste survey data. So basically, guys, recently the caste census data has been released by Bihar government, and on that particular direction, there are the petitions have been filed that the data was collected unlawfully. We'll see what is there in this particular article. Then after that, FIR links news click case to legal aid for Chinese companies. So recently, we have seen the founder of and the functionaries of NewsClick, they were arrested under the charges of the UAPA. However, guys, for exam point of view, no need to go and track this particular article every day. Okay, for exam point of view. Then further moving on, here we see that the Nobel Peace Prize 2023 has been given, and in this last week, in this week, we are seeing every day that a Nobel Prize is being given. So Nobel Prize in Peace category we are going to see today. Then new Maldives president won't be anti-India or pro-China. We'll see that what is relevant in this particular article. Then further moving on, after that, city section, pace of work at Ghazipur landfill significantly slow. Okay, city AQI turns poor. Fine. This is, guys, as the winter pollution will begin now. Largely, this pollution is spiked because of the stubble burning that has started in the Punjab and Haryana region and some parts of the Western Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. And then in regional section, actually, we don't have much relevant articles. There are these advertisements and regional issues, largely political issues, that have been given. So directly we'll reach to editorial section. Now coming to editorial, first article: a warning shot for committing the crime of journalism. So guys, this article is talking about recent arrest of the founders of the NewsClick, who have been arrested on the charge of the UAPA. Now article is saying this particular thing that um, basically journalism has become such a difficult affair and all such things. Now, guys, I have read this article. Article doesn't contains the exam relevant substance. However, if you are interested, for your interest, you can read this particular article. But for exam specific dimension, there is not much things given in the article. Then here, revenue riddles amid broadly healthy GST inflows. Some trends need greater scrutiny. So GST collection trends, fine, where the movement of GST collection month by month is going on. That has been compared there. Then further moving on, aligning higher education with the United Nations SDG. We'll take this particular article for the examination. A good article. McCarthy's ouster reveals a deeper malaise in the Republican Party. So basically, guys, we have seen this particular thing that US Speaker Kevin McCarthy was recently ousted. On that particular dimension, the article has come. Again, not much relevant for exam. Then further moving on, here we have the ground zero report. A village in Bihar is a mini Punjab. So guys, in ground zero report, they take one issue and from the ground they narrate that particular issue. Okay. Again, guys, no need to go in that particular thing. Fine for the exam. Then after that, strictly followed all aspects of news click investors. Okay. So that particular thing is continuing. Guys, in this particular direction, again, we have these political articles, etc. Professor Swaminathan's contribution will continue to inspire and guide us. So recently we have seen in the news that uh, Professor MS Swaminathan passed away, who was instrumental for India's green revolution, which made India self-sufficient in food production and therefore helped in ensuring the food security of India. Now, Prime Minister is saying that he could have adopted any profession. He was also given the opportunity to be a professor in US, but he declined that. Wanted to always pursue the career in India. For Indians, he wanted to do something. Okay, and he said that, and then Prime Minister is recalling his meetings with the Professor MS Swaminathan. Now, guys, it is just a personal account that has been narrated here. Okay, guys, again, basically, article doesn't contains those particular kind of a substance for the exam. However, the personal account is given. Okay. Then further moving on in this particular direction, MG Narega runs out of funds, ministry seeks more budget. Okay. So this particular year, guys, or if you remember, we have seen that when the budget was announced, at that point of a time also it was said that a budget for MG Narega has been very much less. Around 60,000 crore rupees were allocated. Now that budget has fallen short. Okay. Then moving on in this particular direction, India to hold a discussion with Canada during G20 Parliament Speakers meeting. So as G20 is now being hosted by India, more than 200 meetings are being conducted under G20. So this G20 Parliament Speakers meeting. So we have seen that recently India-Canada relations have become little bit, they are going on to the downhill after the allegation that were made by the Canadian Prime Minister that India has played a role in killing of a Khalistani leader in Canada. So that particular thing might be discussed there. Okay. Then after that, moving on in this particular direction, okay, 7 dead, more than 15 injured as fire engulfs building in Mumbai. Okay. Then here we have an article. 2 out of 5 amphibians are facing extinction threat due to climate change. We'll take this particular article. No High Court should deny video conferencing or hybrid hearing, Supreme Court. So basically, guys, video conferencing, it became a norm during the time of the pandemic. However, now it has been seen that there is a kind of a hesitation that is coming in the judiciary to hold the video conferencing. Okay, but that particular thing should not be there. So Supreme Court has given a very clear reminder in this particular direction and had provided that all the adequate infrastructure, etc., that is there will be provided. Then further moving on, cycles of protest, slow change. Now article is talking about the Nobel Peace Prize that has been given. Russia might pull back from nuclear test treaty. We'll see this particular article. Trump endorses Jordan for US House Speaker post. Okay. Then here we have these tenders, etc. Okay. Then guys, moving on in business page. So in business page also, we don't have, basically in business page, we have this article. RBA flags inflation risk to stability. Okay. So guys, we see this particular thing that inflation has been a very big challenge since the pandemic began. Okay. And recently also inflation, basically inflation for a very long period of time has been outside the comfortable range. This can impact the stability and this can impact the economic growth. So we need to be mindful about that. Now, one more thing, guys, I am telling you, see, um, every 2 days or 3 days, there will be some statement given by RBI chief. There will be some statement given by finance minister. Every such statement you are not required to track for exam. Okay. So understand this particular thing, guys, because when we talk about the newspaper, so there are, in fact, if you take the entire newspaper, hundreds of articles are published every day. You have to very carefully skim that which article is going to be relevant for exam. Before reading it, just ask a question from you that can on a particular article be a question in prelims or mains be framed or not. Okay. Then further moving on, after that, guys, we have the sports page. And today, as it is a Saturday, so we don't have a text and context section which contains 3 articles and usually they are important for examination. We also don't have the science page today, and in editorial also the one page that is ground zero report. So because of that, articles that are actually relevant for examination, they are little bit less today, and it usually happens on Saturday. Okay. Now moving on and let's take all the relevant articles one by one in detail. Okay. Okay. So every class we start with a GS quotation. Okay. And this GS quotation can be used to complement our answers for the examination. Okay. So today we are going to take quotation from Mahatma Gandhi ji. So Mahatma Gandhi says this thing: keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habit. Keep your habits positive because your habit becomes your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. Your values become your destiny. In fact, your values become your character. So, first, your character and your behavior, it will be determined first by your thoughts, or by your beliefs. So it should all, if it is possible, we should ensure that we should only harbor the positive thoughts and positive beliefs, because the way we think, the way we have the beliefs, those beliefs will define our values, our outlook, and our character. So positive character starts from the positive beliefs and positive thoughts. Okay, you can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4, value inculcation. Okay, topic number 1, ethics and human interface. Okay, so that is all guys about this quotation. And now let's take first article for the today. So first article that we have, Nobel Peace Prize 2023 goes to jailed Iranian activist Nargis Mohammadi. Okay, now this particular article, guys, basically we are exploring, we are seeing Nobel prizes that are being given this particular week. First of all, some basic background information we'll take, and then we'll move into this particular development. So basically, now this particular kind of article can be used for the prelims examination. Okay, now when we talk about the Nobel prizes are awarded in the memory of Alfred Nobel, who was a Swedish chemist, engineer, and was very popular for his invention of dynamite. And when we talk about the Nobel prizes are were originally awarded in 5 categories, that is physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, and peace. And there is one more category of Nobel Prize that got added in 1968 by Sweden's central bank, that is the Sveriges Riksbank, and that is the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. So now 6 category economic prizes are given. Okay, so 5 were original, and there were economic sciences that had got also added. Now, when we talk about the Nobel Prizes, all the Nobel Prizes except Peace Prize, they are given at Sweden. So all the Nobel Prizes that we have discussed earlier, they were given at Sweden. Today we are going to discuss the Nobel Peace Prize, and Nobel Peace Prize is given in Norway. Nobel Peace Prize is given in the Norway. Okay. Now, this is the list of the Indian people or people of Indian origin who had been awarded Nobel Prizes along with their respective categories. Now, already guys, in this particular week, we have discussed these Nobel Prizes. We have discussed Nobel Prize of Medicine that was given for mRNA vaccine against COVID-19. We have discussed Nobel Prize on Physics, which was given for the attosecond physics. We have discussed Nobel Prize in Chemistry, which was given for quantum dots. Okay, which was given for quantum dots. Fine. One more thing, guys, that as we discussed these Nobel Prizes, also we have discussed that in very simple words what quantum dots are, what mRNA vaccines are, what is attosecond physics, all these particular things. And if you remember, yesterday we have also discussed the Nobel Prize in Literature. Yesterday also we have discussed the Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, today we are going to discuss the Nobel Prize for Peace. So Nobel Prize for Peace is given to Nargis Mohammadi. So Nargis Mohammadi is an activist in Iran who is right now in jail. She has been very active for the human rights, for women rights. Now you might be knowing this particular thing that in Iran 2022 there were big protests that happened. Why? Because one woman, she was she was punished by morality police of Iran. Why? Because she has not worn the hijab properly. And as she was punished, she eventually died. And people, they came on the streets because there are very cruel laws against women that are existing in Iran. Okay. During that particular protest, Nargiz Mohammadi also protested for that particular thing, and she has right now been jailed. And guys, Miss Mohammadi, she she has been sentenced for 30 years in prisons, and multiple number of times she has been in prison. So basically, for her tireless campaigning for women's right, her campaigning for democracy, her campaigning for against abolition of death penalty, as well as for her campaign against human rights, she has been jailed multiple number of times. And when we talk about Nargis Mohammadi, she is the 19th woman to win Nobel Peace Prize, and this is the second Iranian woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Earlier, Shireen Ebadi won the prize in 2003, and now Miss Nargis Mohammadi has been given. Okay, so this is, guys, all about this particular development. Now, beyond this, guys, no need to go too much in detail. Okay, fine. Moving on. Sir, these prizes are given every year. Yes, the Nobel Prize is given every year. Okay, then we have this article. 2 out of 5 amphibians are facing extinction threat due to climate change study. Okay. Now, this particular article we'll see with respect to prelims as well as GS paper number 3 environment. GS paper number 3 environment and conservation also will take this particular article. Now, Let's take first of all the basic background of the article. So basically, guys, recently what has happened? A new report, a new study has been released. Name of this particular report is Ongoing Decline for the World's Amphibians in the Face of Emerging Threat. And this particular study is published in Nature, which is one of the most prestigious scientific journal. And according to this particular report, they say that amphibian population is declining because of the climate change, and large number of amphibians, they are facing the threat of extinction, and particularly frogs, salamanders, and Caecilians, okay, they are the ones who are facing the big danger because of climate change that has happened. Now, guys, you might be knowing about the IUCN Red List of threatened species, which classifies that this species is vulnerable, this particular species is threatened, this particular species is critically endangered. Okay, so basically within the IUCN, okay, there is international within the IUCN there is a dedicated amphibian red list authority. There is the dedicated amphibian red list authority. So amphibian red list authority under the IUCN, it has coordinated this particular study, and this study is actually based on the second global amphibian assessment. Now, as we talk about this particular study, this study has evaluated around 8,000 amphibian species, and they say that all are vulnerable to climate change, habitat degradation that has happened, and many other man-made anthropogenic threats that are there. And two out of every five amphibian, they are threatened. And when we talk about the major major reasons for their threat. So first is climate change. 39% of all these species are threatened because of climate change. They have threatened because of the climate change. Okay. After that, habitat destruction and degradation. They are affecting 93% of all the threatened amphibians. So out of the amphibians which are threatened, 93% are threatened by the habitat destruction and habitat degradation. Okay. Is it clear or not? So this is about it. Now, beyond this, guys, no need to go and track line by line detail. Beyond that, no need to go and read anything for this particular development. We can use these particular things as a reference point that how climate change is impacting across the world. All the species are being impacted. Fine. Then, moving on to next article, alluring higher education with the United Nation SDG. United Nation SDG. Now, this particular article, guys, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 3, sustainable development, as well as GS paper number 2, education. GS paper number 2, education, we are going to use this article. Through improvement in education, how sustainable development can be carried. So this kind of a link we can make in this particular article, and the article is a very good article. Particularly one paragraph, I will tell you, that is very beautiful one in this particular entire article. Now let's discuss about the article. So first of all, some basic things. So guys, you might have heard the name of SDG, which stands for Sustainable Development Goals. Now, 2015, the countries adopted Sustainable Developmental Goals. Before Sustainable Developmental Goals, there were Millennium Development Goals. So from 2000 to 2015, 8 Millennium Developmental Goals were adopted, and 2015 to 2030, 6 Sustainable Developmental Goals have been adopted. There are in total 17 goals, and within these 17 goals, there are 169 targets that are there. And all countries, developing countries, they have to ensure that they achieve these sustainable developmental goals. So in total, there are 17 sustainable developmental goals. And following these particular goals is actually a matter of urgency. Because by achieving these goals, social development, economic development, environmental conservation, all these particular things are tied to it. So today we find this particular thing to end poverty, to improve socio-economic indicators, to solve the environmental problems, to improve standard of education, to improve the standard of living, to improve the lifestyle of the people. Achieving these sustainable developmental goals is very important. Achieving them is non-negotiable. But it has been said that the progress towards these particular goals, it has been sluggish. It has been sluggish. And in this capacity, there was recently Sustainable Developmental Goal Report 2023 that was also released, and it says that many of because of the many of the global challenges that world is facing, for example, Russia-Ukraine war, fine, then COVID-19 pandemic. After that, global economy is now in very weak spot because of inflation, because of growth that has been less, and all such kind of a thing. So because of all these particular challenges, we find this particular thing that progress on SDG has been very much less. Now, article specifically provides this thing that one particular focus, that is focus on education, can help in achieving all sustainable or most of the sustainable developmental goals. Now, okay, now, so when we talk about sustainable developmental goal, there is SDG goal number 4. SDG goal number 4 pertains to improving quality of education. Improving quality of education. Now, when we talk about education, India has emphasized on education from a very long period of time. For example, Article 21A was given through 86th Constitutional Amendment Act, which provides the right to education. Also, from time to time, India comes out with the education policies. Recently, we have come out with National Education Policy 2020. So India has played a very important role in ensuring inclusive education should be provided to all the citizens. Fine. Now, NEP 2020 actually is prepared specifically in tune with sustainable developmental goals, and National Education Policy 2020 is focusing on all the aspects of education, higher education, school education. It is focusing on inclusivity of education. It is focusing that education should be able to fulfill the needs and demands of the 21st century. Education should not be based on rote learning. Education should be based on critical learning. All these particular things have been prioritized by NEP. But the article further says that we need to focus more priority should be given to higher education, because higher education will unravel a multiplier effect. It will unravel a multiplier effect. What will happen? It will accelerate social mobility. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing. According to the data, according to the report by OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they say that the people who have a higher degree, people who are undergraduate, these people, the people who have a higher degree, these people earn 54% more than those people who have just completed senior secondary education. Those who have just completed senior secondary education. So, more education, higher education gives you more earning potential. At the same time, now this is a very good article, paragraph. Please note it down in your notes. Now, this particular paragraph, it provides this particular thing. Let's see that we have a sustainable developmental goal 1, poverty. Sustainable developmental goal 1, poverty. If you educate people, if you educate people, by educating people, what will happen? They will be able to increase their earning potential, and as their earning potential will be increased, what will happen? They will be able to go out of poverty, and reducing poverty is SDG goal number 1. So by education, by SDG 4, SDG 1 will get fulfilled. Second, they say this particular thing, that SDG goal 2 is of hunger. Now obviously, when poverty will go down, hunger will automatically go down. Then SDG goal number 3 is good health and well-being. Now, when a person is making a decent living, okay, when a person's hunger is taken care of, obviously the person's health and well-being will improve. So SDG goal 3 will be fulfilled. Then after that, educated people, they will be educated people, they will question stereotypes, they will question prejudices, patriarchy, and what will happen? Gender equality will come, and gender equality will fulfill sustainable developmental goal number 5. Okay. Then after that particular thing, we see this thing, that after that, if people are educated, what will happen? They will be able to avail decent work. SDG goal 8 will fulfilled. Inequalities will reduce, and reducing inequality is SDG goal number 10. Okay. So on all the fronts, we find this particular thing, that improvement will come. Improvement will come. So therefore, SDG goal number 4, that is decent education, will help in implementing, will help in fulfilling all these goals. Is it clear or not? Then further, article also provides this particular thing, that when we talk about education, education should be multidisciplinary education. Education should be multidisciplinary education. Okay. Okay, and as the people will have a multidisciplinary education, what will happen? It will drive innovation. It will drive innovation. And through that innovation, we should be able to find affordable solutions for clean energy, sustainable solutions and communities. And by that, these SDG goals, we will be able to find solution for climate change, global warming. So point is that large number of SDG goals, they are linked with the fulfillment of SDG goal number 4. So if SDG goal number 4 fulfills, all these other goals also will get fulfilled. Is it clear or not? Now, further, article talks about this particular thing, that as we talk about education, okay, we should focus more on value based education. Now, in fact, India has focused on value based education since the education policy of 1986 specifically. And as the students will learn values, they will start respecting the other forms of life, they will develop compassion towards other creatures of life, they will respect environment. Okay, and what will happen? It will help in preserving the life on land, SDG goal number 15, as well as the life below water. Okay, so article says this particular thing, that today we need to emphasize that our higher educational institution, more than 56,000 higher educational institutions, colleges, universities, they should be rejuvenated, they should be given a new vigor and a new mandate, so that they create a responsible class of citizens, they create a skilled educated class of citizens. Okay, and in that, universities can play a very important role in nudging the students towards innovation culture, culture of innovation, preserving our culture, preserving community health, and all these particular things, right? So that is all about this particular article. Okay, I hope guys that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. Russia might pull back from nuclear test treaty. Russia might pull back from nuclear test treaty. So basically, guys, what is this issue? This article is talking about the comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty. Now, when we talk about comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty, this particular treaty was adopted by United Nations General Assembly in 1996. And this particular treaty provides that countries will not explode nuclear weapons, will not test the nuclear weapons, neither nuclear explosions will be carried for civilian purpose, nor it will be carried for military purpose. Also, it aims at nuclear technologies should not be proliferated to those countries which are irresponsible or which don't have nuclear technologies. So proliferation should not happen. So comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty was adopted in 1996. Now Russia has signed and ratified this treaty. But Russia says that USA up till now has not ratified the treaty. Okay, and in fact, just giving you a fact, India has also not ratified this treaty. So Russia says that we are also pulling back from this particular treaty. And if Russia pulls back from this treaty right now, when Russia-Ukraine war is going on, it might open up many of the challenges, and Russia might advance the development of nuclear weapons, which might become a concern for the world countries. Okay, so this is all about it. Okay, then guys, we have these articles. Now you are not required to go in this particular article, but just headings are more than sufficient. So basically, guys, if you are following newspaper analysis regularly, in past 1 week, we have discussed this development, I think, 3 times. We have seen that new president has elected in Maldives, that is Mr. Muizu. Now, Mr. Muizu, he is basically, let me give you a little bit of a background, though we have discussed, I think, 3 times earlier also. So basically, Maldives, earlier president Mr. Ibu Soli, he was sympathetic to India, and he has supported Indian investment in Maldives. He have also supported the India's participation in Maldives. But what happened during that particular point of a time? India out campaign was going on in Maldives, where specific people they wanted that India should not be given infrastructure projects. Indian personnel should not be present in Maldives. And India out campaign was the supporters of India out campaign were more sympathetic to China. Okay, this was something going on. Now, Mr. Muizu and his political party is outrightly the supporter of India out campaign, and their political party and Mr. Muizu is seen as a pro-China. So now there is these apprehensions that are coming that Mr. Muizu and now Maldives will give more preference to China and might become little bit critical of India. So therefore, guys, what has happened? Mohammad Nasheed, who was former the president also, and right now the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly there, they have given this particular thing that new Maldives president would not be anti-India, also would not be pro-China. Okay, so this particular affirmation has been given. However, by time we'll only be able to tell that whether it happens or not. Okay, fine. So just that's it. Just that's it. Then Supreme Court refuses to release to stay release of Bihar caste survey. So guys, this article also we have seen at least 2-3 times in this last 1 week, that recently Bihar government has released their caste survey, and as per the caste survey, 63% people in Bihar, they are from the backward caste. 63% people in Bihar, they are from the backward caste. Now basically there was this particular thing that got developed, that as a population of backward people is 63%, they deserve more reservation. Right now, OBC are given just 27% reservation. So it is said that they deserve more reservation. This demand will be made. Now, on the opposite hand, it is being said that Bihar government, which have released this particular data or this particular survey, the data was captured unlawfully. So therefore, data should not be released. And they want Supreme Court, that Supreme Court should order the Bihar government to not to release that particular data. Now, as of now, Supreme Court has refused to put a stay on that, and had given a future date for this particular case. Then it will be, we'll see if some development or change comes here. But as of now, nothing has happened. Just a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court. Okay. Moving on and taking up the main practice question for today. So, question for today is: educational institution have to rethink their approach so that it is in tune with the national education policy, which will be crucial in realizing the 2030 deadline for SDG comment. For SDG comment. So this will be a 10 marker question for GS paper number 2. Okay. So that is all guys about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Okay. So that is all guys about it. And I hope that you have liked it. So if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button. And now we'll be meeting on Monday. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.